What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In this video, I'm going to cover the patch notes for the recent update to Test Live. Now, this update is going to bring us to the Age of Sorcery Chapter 2. First of all, I want to clear something up. There are ages, and then inside those ages there are chapters. So each age may have 3 to 4 chapters. We are moving into chapter 2 of Age of Sorcery. Now what that basically means is that we're going to see another battle pass. We're also going to see more things added to the bazaar. There are some things that are coming free in game, but I'm going to be honest, those are pretty light in the grand scope of things that are coming with this next chapter. And my guess is that the chapters really should be looked at more like new battle pass features and new store additions than they should be looked at as new content coming to the game. Yes, there's new content coming to the game, and I'll cover that later on in this video, but it's light in comparison to what appears to be coming for the Battle Pass and the store. It's also important to note that this is a test live version of the game, and everything that you're seeing on screen, everything that I'm reading from the patch notes, is subject to change based on feedback or stability or whatever reason Funcom may decide to make changes to what they have listed here. Let's start with new additions. With this new chapter, a new battle pass will start with a fresh new set of rewards as well as new bazaar bundles. New witch hunt encounter has been added to the game, acquiring bounties and bringing sorcerers back dead or alive. Now, it's interesting the way that this is written in the patch notes, because if you read the TLDR summary, too long didn't read summary, there is a new encounter type called headhunting, and then there's a new encounter type which is actually blank. It's left blank intentionally, but then when you scroll down a little bit further and you start reading about the new additions, it actually says the new witch hunt. Now, if you guys watched my live stream that I was doing earlier on Test Live, I could not find the witch hunt encounter. I was able to find the headhunting, that was very easy, but the witch hunt encounter did not appear to be spawning, and therefore I have not been able to test that or engage in that content at all. If any of you guys are playing on Test Live and you've come across the witch hunt, please let me know in the comment section of this video where I should be looking for that. Now, it's a very good possibility that Funcom is under promoting and over delivering in this next patch, because if you look just at the new additions section for the Test Live patch notes, you wouldn't know that there's actually cats coming to the Exiled Lands and the Isle of Sipta. Yes, you get new pets. They are cats. They're the hairless cats. Very, very cool addition to the game. Don't try to have them follow you. It will not work out. They act just like real cats. You can't call them. You can't tell them what to do. None of that. So don't expect to run around and have your little kitten jump on the face of an NPC that you're attacking. It's not going to happen. But you wouldn't know from the patch notes that this is actually even being added. You would have had to watch the live stream that Funcom did, or my live stream, or somebody else that's showing Test Live, to know that cats are coming to Conan Exiles. And sometimes little things like that make you wonder what else they intentionally leave out to keep secret until you actually get the finished product. So just because I say there's not a whole lot in this doesn't mean that there isn't more coming. Now, I'm just going to run through and highlight some things that I feel like pop out to me, but I will link these patch notes in the description of this video so you can get over there and read them for yourself. The Apocryphy cabinet is now a 40 slot container. So that was the one that said it had storage, but then when you actually bought it, it didn't have storage. That now has storage. So that is a good thing. It's good to see Funcom coming back and fixing those things that were a little bit misleading from the bazaar or the battle pass. Let's jump down into crafting fixes. So there's some interesting things going on in here that are almost like balance fixes. So star metal meteors are listed under here, and they are now again only harvestable by tier 4 or higher pickaxe, or sorcery call spell. So that's an interesting change. Even if you got up there early, you were able to crack open the star metal, you could not use an early game pick to get star metal. I know you guys are all going to be really excited about this. Tier 4 Temporites should now provide a recipe for the legendary armor patch kits once more. No more looking at that master armor patch kit in the table with your very important Temper Smith in the bench. It's now supposed to be fixed and have the legendary armor patch kits. Jumping down to combat fixes, shooting a bat demon who is carrying a player should now forcibly dismount the player from the bat demon. I'm pretty sure they said this was intended in the beginning but wasn't working properly, so be careful while you're out flying your bat, because I believe NPCs can even shoot you off of the bat and probably give you one epic whack moment. Ludal does now re-equip sheathed weapons after dying in combat. I think what this means is that if you are using a particular weapon and you go back to your body and hit loot all, it will actually put that weapon that you had equipped back in your hotbar. That's been a thing that's been going on for quite some time, where whatever weapon you're using at the point of death will not actually go back in your hotbar. Here's one that kind of makes me sad, chat, because I just did a video about this. They fixed an issue that caused the katana dash attack to hit multiple times in certain situations. This is what that combo was actually doing, was causing those certain situations to happen on a more regular basis. So they fixed that. Unfortunately, that means that the katana combo is not as good as it was before. Rock noses should no longer be susceptible to poisons, which I'm perfectly fine with, all except for that pesky rock slide, which was really the only way that I would kill it was with poison. So not being able to poison it and having it still be as difficult as it is, I'm just going to continue to avoid it entirely and act like it doesn't exist in game. Jumping into AI and NPC fixes, the Tortured King should now be less shy and it should spawn as intended. So this is the guy that I tell you to go and farm the really good wraps from. He's in King's Niche on the Exiled lands, and on console he has not been appearing in the proper location. So this is mainly an issue that's been on console. It hasn't really been on PC, but once you get this version of the game, that should be fixed for you. There are big changes coming to pets in the Exiled lands and the Isle of Sipta. They are finally looking at them and changing their damages. In this example, it talks about gorillas and scorpions have received the biggest boost to their DPS with a 233% and 178% increase respectively. They also talk about the Sabertooth and the Yakith actually having the biggest damage decrease of 40%. The rest of the pet companion types have seen changes as well. More details on the stats to come with the final patch notes. This is the first of many steps to rebalance animal companions moving forward to make them a more viable choice. So I think the fact that they're looking at it, that is a good sign. However, I really don't ever see pets becoming a replacement for thralls. I just don't see them being able to do enough damage or withstand enough damage for them to replace a thrall as your main follower for engaging in combat. Quite possibly my favorite change here in the patch notes has to do with the summoning of the Wisp. It now lasts for 10 minutes, which is really good because it actually lasts about half the amount of time as a torch, but the 10 minutes should allow you to get through an entire night cycle with that Wisp active. The one change that I would still ask to have made to the Wisp is that if it could lose the ADD, if you embed that Wisp in your character. It just stays in a single spot. It doesn't fly all over the screen, get in front of your face, cause you to not be able to see what's going on in front of you. It has worse ADD than I have after having like 5 cups of coffee and seeing new and shiny things in the Exiled lands, so I'd like to see that calm down. They are changing zombies. They are reducing the inventory size for zombie followers to 5, so you are not going to have massive amounts of storage with your zombies anymore. Additionally, they are losing some of their damage bonus. So initially it was at 50%. They're reducing that to 33% when you convert your thrall into a zombie. Additionally, they are losing their bonus to grit and will always have 0 armor. Now, for those of you that are wondering if it's intended for zombies to have armor slots and weapon slots, it is not intended. Eventually, they are going to patch that out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see that in the final patch notes for this update. So do expect your zombies to not be as strong as they are today once this patch comes to life. The mirror mark or mirror image illusions, however you want to say it, when you cast sorcery and have a copy of yourself in front of you, that is now going to take damage. And once it reaches 0 HP, it is going to disappear. Now, I did some testing during my live stream. It is taking 2 damage every time it's hit. So it's not taking a ton of damage. It's not based on how hard an enemy hits. It takes 2 damage no matter what is hitting it each time. So essentially, it can take 50 hits before it disappears in the current state. Honestly, I'd like to see them buff that just a little bit, maybe only take 1 damage with every hit, that way it takes 100 hits for that to disappear. I did a live stream recently where I had an army of berserkers coming to destroy my base, and I was able to use that mirror mark to get the edge over those berserkers. Now, you can call that cheesy, but in PvE, it's okay if we have a little bit of cheese, and I think the mirror mark allows us to have that little bit of cheese. So I would say let's get a little buff to that and allow it to take 100 hits. Glutton for Punishment is actually receiving what seems to be a buff. It says Glutton for Punishment's healing effect will now only be removed when a larger valued heal effect from the perk is applied. This should make the healing from this perk feel more reliable. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work or look in game. I'm going to have to do a little bit of testing to this to see if this actually is a buff or just a change to the way the perk works. They adjusted the dagger hitbox sizes to allow it to connect more reliably. I think this is going to be a really good change. There were a lot of times where I was attacking, especially with that first attack, and it seemed like it always missed. So I did a little bit of testing with this, and it already feels much better. Now, there's a lot more stuff in the patch notes, but nothing really stuck out to me as being uber important to tell you about. So I'm going to leave it here. Let me know what your favorite change in the patch notes is in the comment section below. I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button that says join on this page. Click that for details. There's 2 videos on the screen. Click one of those to watch next, and I'll meet you over there.